Good afternoon. February 29, 2016. This is CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy. Today is day number 11 into week number 6. So let's get started. Welcome back and good afternoon. Today is day number 11. We're at the very beginning of week number 6. So I sent you the teacher's message for this week. And in this teacher's message this week, I have helped you to understand the expectations in the following discussions and the blog posting. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that later. But first of all, do you still remember you have a midterm course survey to complete before the end of today? In the midterm course survey, one important question is, do you prefer to combine the two learning contracts into one learning contract so that you could have a feeling of reducing the workload? That means you do not need to submit the first set of artifacts for learning contract number 2 on March the 12th. Instead, you're going to submit one set of artifacts on April the 2nd. Okay? So, what do you think? Please let me know by spending 5 minutes time today. Now, if you have not done this midterm course survey, you can complete the 5 questions here. You can either click on this link or click on this link. Okay? Would you please make sure you fill up the form with your feedback? Because I need your input in order to tell the whole class what to do. So far, I've just checked the number of responses. Out of a class of 41 students, I just got 16. So it's not even up to the half of the class. So would you please take 5 minutes time to work out your responses here by giving out your feedback. Okay? It's very important that we try to get as much input from you as possible. Okay? Only just 5 minutes before we continue with today's class. Welcome back. Let's see. We also have some speakers today, and let me check how many of you are going to speak today. So if you came in late, kindly come to the website and complete the midterm course survey right here on this link or on the upcoming events link. Today is the very last day to complete this midterm course survey. I need your input, okay? 5 minutes. I give you 5 minutes to do that. So we're going to start at 4:10. Okay, 4:10, we're going to resume the class. And this is week number 6. Thank you, welcome back. If you have not done the midterm course survey, please spend 5 minutes here completing the survey. We need your input, okay?
Not many of us really, but how?
Done the midterm course survey. It's time for us to use 5 minutes to get it done. Okay, right here, midterm course survey. Yes, you can access the midterm course survey from here, or you can go to the last link in the catalog. You have 5 minutes time to do it, and actually the 5 minutes is over now. Okay, allow me to announce it one more time. We need input from you in the midterm course survey, which you can access by clicking on the last link here, or this link here. And you have up to 11:55 tonight to get it done. So far, when I checked the number of responses in this class of 41 students, we just have 15 students who did it. So it's not enough to help us to make a call. Remember, the last question in the midterm course survey asked if you would like to reduce the workload in this course by combining the two learning contracts, LC002 and LC003 into one. Okay? So it's very important that we got input from each one of you. Those of you who are here, it's very important that you got the midterm course survey completed. Okay? Having said that, I hope that you take some minutes to get it done. Actually, we should start doing the course for today. Okay. We'll get back to the message of today after we have explained things here. But, yes, let me get started first. I give you 3 more minutes before we resume today's class, okay? start. Questions on how to do it? Tell me. Okay, go up. We got 26 students working on the midterm course survey now. So hopefully we've got a little bit more, at least 30, all right? So those of you who have not done this, you have the last 1 minute time to get it done. All right, so allow me to get back to class in 1 minute. We have a lot of things to help you understand today, all right? Alright, let's get started for today's class now, after giving you time to complete the midterm course survey. Now if you have not done this, please make sure you do something about this before 11:55 tonight. That's very important. The class needs your feedback so that we can steer the right course. Okay, now let me get back to week number 1 and help you understand something about our syllabus. In day number 1, I invite you to go through all the links immediately under day number 1. One of those links that I would like to have your attention today is the one on blended learning. Now, first of all, you need to understand what is meant by blended learning. Put it simply, in this class, we're helping you to transition from a taught-to-learn student to a learn-to-learn student by giving you this facility of blended learning. First of all, you have the in-class contact with me, your instructor, helping you to understand something like ORS. I'm standing here to tell you something specific. And then we also have an electronic medium which is offered as an instance of blended learning. The electronic medium is our Moodle environment in which you can see, you can read from this website 24/7 with all the resources, with all the calendar details week after week to help you understand this. So exactly what is meant by blended learning, I would like to bring you to the blended learning activity. When you click on this activity, you can see a table like this, okay? In 14 weeks' time, each week, we would like you to do something before class, that is called a BCA activity. And during class, that is called a DCA activity. We have given you something to think about, okay? And after class activity, ACA activity, represents something you need to manage to complete it in order to have your lessons relatively safe and remember something important. And towards the end of the week, it is expected you will look back, do some reflections on what you learned. So if you click into each such link, you discover that I've given you specific instructions on what to do, okay? Well, I did not force you to do it, but I must provide all those important messages so that in case you forget what happened in class, besides watching the video immediately, you can come to individual links here to remind yourself what to do. Okay, today I'm going to remind you what blended learning is all about by going into this particular link on week number 1. So let's go for part 1. Okay, I would like you to spend 3 to 4 minutes time understanding blended learning. All right? 4 minutes.
You've heard the words. They say it can increase student engagement and achievement, and that it meets our students' needs and learning styles. But have you ever wondered, what is blended learning? This is blended learning in plain English, inspired by Colin Brown. To make sense of blended learning, we must first get an idea of what blended learning is not. Let's look at the revolution of teaching. 1801, invention of the blackboard. Read the passage I have written on the board and answer questions 1 through 5. 1960, invention of photocopiers. I've run off some worksheets for you. Read the passage and answer questions 1 through 5. 1985, first computers hit schools. I've used a computer to create a worksheet. Read the passage and answer questions 1 through 5. Now we have even more access to technology, from personal laptops, smartphones, and tablets in our hands and those of our students. The use of technology needs to be harnessed in a way that fosters the inquiry process for students and engages them in the learning process that prepares them for a future that isn't here yet. I've created a web quest. Turn on your computer and follow the prompts to find questions 1 through 5 and answer them. But wait, if we use technology like tools in the 1800s, has teaching even changed? Have we created conditions for success for our 21st century learners? No, this is not blended learning. This may be substitution of one tool for another. It might be a step in the direction towards blended learning, but it's not true blended learning. Blended learning is a mix of face-to-face teaching or traditional teaching with the use of 21st century tools in a digital environment. The digital environment allows students who process information more quickly to have access to relevant materials immediately while exploring and learning in a non-linear fashion. The digital environment is called a learning management system, known as an LMS. Learning management systems allow teachers to create virtual classroom space for students to join their learning together. It builds a community of learners. An example LMS is Desire to Learn, or D2L. D2L has the same features as a physical classroom without the wall and paper. An LMS functions as a classroom with lessons, discussions, Dropbox, grades, quizzes, portfolio, class calendar, locker, checklists, glossaries, and any Web 2.0 tool you can think of. Web 2.0 tools can enhance the learning management system by expanding the potential within the learning environment. It can allow a student to demonstrate their learning in an alternate form or medium. Examples of these tools might be Prezi, Blogster, SlideShare, Moodle, GeoGebra, Lineaway, VoiceThread, Evernote and Dropbox, Scoopit, and a multitude of Google apps that can be used for just about anything. Think of all the technology our students have access to: personal laptops, tablets, smartphones, MP3 players, video recorders. As a teacher, how do we use these tools to our students' advantage? We use blended learning. We'll meet the students in an environment they're familiar with, help them develop proficiency with tools they may need in the future, and will support their inquiry process. Blended learning fosters creation, the highest order thinking skill on Bloom's taxonomy, and lends itself to differentiated instruction. Blended learning also strengthens connections with parents as it makes the classroom walls more transparent. Blended learning is awesome. I'm Jennifer Faulkner, and this has been Blended Learning in Plain English, inspired me.
What does all this mean? Well, it means that as a teacher, we do not just stand here and conduct lecture within the contact hours, because it's impossible to help to learn all these things with this number of minutes, 2 times each class. So we need to make sure we have the learning design spelled out in the syllabus and provided according schedule of activities together with the resources so that you students could understand how to make the best use of them when they are put online 24/7. So let's go back to take a look at our environment. So ever since day number 1, okay, we can see that we have the day by day, or better say week by week, blended learning suggestions for you in the context of the Moodle environment, which is a learning management system, for the teacher to structure the learning activities, for the student to enjoy the learning activity, or better say complete the learning activity at your own schedule. Okay, although we say that for week number 1, it is expected before you come to class you do this. It is expected during the class we're going to do this. It is expected after the class you're going to handle some activity like this. And towards the end of the week you should got those things done. So if you take a look at those links, okay, on week by week, you can see that after you finish your first learning contract, you have actually gone through all those activities, except for the fact that which of those resources have you used to enable you to fill up your learning schedule in the first learning contract. Each student might have a different package because you have the freedom to choose. When you choose this item, you might have different interpretations of the same thing from the other student when he or she has chosen a different item. So for blended learning, that means we've given you the time you need within an overall time period. For example, in the first learning contract, 4 weeks time for you to explore what you want to read, what you want to know, based on the guidelines. The guidelines is learning contract number 1, 6 important learning artifacts to produce, 4 important reading lists, but you just need to do 1 topic. And underneath that topic, you can find a lot of relevant information online from the website of this course, and also from external resources like this. Okay? That's why we say that you have to develop a habit of learning which rely less on the teacher, but more on the specific learning design, as well as more on the discovered resources on the website. So having said that, if you are conscious of what we are doing, this is week number 6. We've gone through the first learning contract, and we are going through the second learning contract. So if you go through the tables there, when you go through all of this link, when you add them up together, you should have no problem understanding what is required of you in the first learning contract and in the second learning contract. But yet, I received very good questions after last class, last week, when I introduced to you the second learning contract. For example, the following question is a very meaningful one. I do not know if you got the same after discussions with your pair member and after elaborations as to which other pair is to be your T pair. This is the question. In the delineations of the second learning contract's learning artifacts, I also said you need to do 6 items. The 6 items match consistently with the 6 items in the first learning contract. In other words, individually speaking, you need to do a journal, which is based on 1 topic chosen from the 3 reading lists, week 5, week 6, and week 7. That's perfect. You understand that. Now here's the question, very clever, very thoughtful considerations. But in the report, in the first learning contract, because we're 2 persons in a pair, and in the report it is spelled out we need to include 2 different topics, 1 from each member in the pair. Perfect. But we do not know if we need to include 4 topics in the report in the second learning contract, because now we have 2 pairs, and each pair has 2 persons, and each person must select a different topic from the other 3 persons in the team. if it is the case, we're going to put together a report with 4 topics. But when we read the specifications for the second learning contract, it said only 2 topics. What does it mean? Yes, in the report of the second learning contract, you still have to do 2 topics. But this time, remember, the 2 topics comes from the 2 pairs. So each pair offers 1 topic. What does it mean? When each pair offers 1 topic, that means inside each pair, there is a selection process. Because inside each pair, you have 2 persons with 2 topics. But eventually, the 2 of you inside your pair need to negotiate with one another to determine only 1 topic to be the topic whose report must be written and submitted in the team report. So what does it mean? It means the differences between the first learning contract and the second learning contract is that in the second learning contract, when your pair decide which topic to go into the team report, the 2 of you in your pair must go through very serious negotiations. Alright? Negotiation is the design opportunity for collaborations. Okay? So in the first learning contract, you can say, I don't care, this is my topic. But the second learning contract, you care about your partner's feedback. Okay? And you have to work this out with your learning partner. When you put 2 topics in the table of your pair, which topic to go into the team report. Okay? And accordingly, when you do the discussions, you have to do the discussions first with your learning partner to elaborate on your topic. Then, when your pair has decided which topic to go into the team report, you also have portions of the discussions record which include the 2 pairs. So, when you submit a discussions report, this time we should be able to see 2 typical sequences. One sequence is a 2-person discussion between the 2 of you in your pair on your topic. The second sequence is the 2 pair talking with respect to a specific pair's chosen topic. Okay? So it's a level up into the discussion forward. You see the meaning of that? These help you to make sure you know how to put forward your ideas and communicate effectively with team members. You see that is a level up from learning contract number 1. Okay? I hope that I have answered your questions. You've asked very good questions. Okay? And what about a block? Again, block is an individual work. And when you write a block, you must write a block based on the chosen topic of your pair. Okay? Based on the chosen topic of your pair. That means what? The 2 of you in your pair is going to write a block based on the same topic, but with 2 different perspectives. Okay? That is a very interesting thing to read, compare across the members' perspective in a pair in the second learning contract. That is quite different from the first learning contract, although we keep the same set of artifacts. But a careful student also asked me, does it mean that we can do half of the work as in the first learning contract? I say, well, it's really up to you, because the same set of artifacts, but this time you have 2 times the manpower to produce the same set of artifacts. But believe the service, you have to do a little bit more discussions, okay? Because you need to make decisions. That is a very interesting thing. So that means what? That means in your meeting minute that you're going to submit, again, remember what I said, this time at least 2. Last time at least 1. That means last time you can just submit 1. No one is going to tell you it's not enough. This time you have to submit 2 at least. Okay? That means you have to have enhanced the discussions and then with enhanced the meeting minutes. That is a level up. Alright? A little bit more work to do. So I hope I've answered your question at this point. Very careful questions after last class on Thursday. Now, Of course, it very much depends on your decisions today. When I read your mid-semester course survey, I'm going to see if you would like to combine two contracts, learning contract 2 and learning contract 3 into one. If indeed the case, then you have another challenge, the challenge a level up 2. What does it mean? If you look at the specifications on learning contract number 3, it is said that learning contract number 3 is going to be done by a task force. A task force is going to be made up of 2 teams, and each team has 2 pairs. Wow. And how many report topic do we need to include? A clever student already asked this, and my answer as of last Thursday is only 1. 1. The whole task force is going to design on 1 topic. Now that is going to be challenging because originally speaking, you have 2 teams coming together, and each team carries a team report with 2 topics. When 2 teams come together, usually they have 4 topics, and now you have to choose 1 out of week number 8, 9, and 10. That is going to be a little bit more tricky in terms of teamwork. Now I'm not going to tell you anything more about this until sometime on Thursday when I read the specific result on your midterm course survey. Alright? So if you have a question, you're very much welcome to ask me after class. And I'm going to give you an answer on Thursday. Now let's come back. Okay, let's come back first of all on week number 5. Do you still remember we are talking something about privacy and encryptions last Monday, and last Thursday we just introduced to you the idea of ethical hacking, and then a little bit on web attacks and internet vulnerability. We have not talked about this. So we are going to tell you a little bit more about internet vulnerability after we come back to this very important topic called ethical hacking, the key terms. Okay? So let's enjoy 4 minutes of this.
There are some really important terms that you should know and we should agree on throughout the course. Why? Because I'm going to refer to these almost constantly. Every single scenario, every single module, almost every slide will have some reference to one of these bits of terminology. Typically, a hacker or an attacker or a black hat is a person that is representing a security threat. This is, generally speaking, what we think of as a traditional hacker. Matthew Broderick in War Games is a great example of this. The person that's actually presenting a security threat. The word hacker sometimes gets used in different contexts. Attacker is also a very, very common bit of terminology, and black hat is almost always questioned on different certification examinations what a black hat is. A black hat is an attacker. On the other hand, an ethical hacker, or a white hat, is someone who uses very similar techniques, very similar approaches and almost identical tool sets, but instead of penetrating a system for ill-gotten gains or trying to extort or trying to steal money, this ethical hacker is actually doing the same type of thing in a good way or for good purposes. They're doing this so that they can identify vulnerabilities and issues and flaws and hopefully fix them before they become issues. At the same time, an ethical hacker also tends to go through systems after an incident to determine what the methods of attack were and prevent them in the future. So we have the white hat and the black hat, we have the ethical hacker and the hacker. Those are 2 sides of the same coin. And then vulnerability, threat, and countermeasure really kind of go together nicely. A vulnerability is simply a weakness in a system that allows an attack to succeed, some type of weakness anywhere in the system. Sometimes it's a network protocol, sometimes it's an open port, sometimes it's a service that's misconfigured, sometimes it's a bit of ill-written code, whatever that vulnerability is. And it doesn't always have to be technology. A lot of times it's a process-based vulnerability. So, for example, approving a system for implementation or approving an employee's access to a sensitive system, those are process-based vulnerabilities. And people-based vulnerabilities, things like hiring someone that works for a competitor or hiring someone without the proper background check, is another vulnerability. A threat is something an attacker realizes. So when a threat, or when a vulnerability becomes a threat, it's because it's actually being manipulated by an attacker. And then a countermeasure is something that gets changed to mitigate a threat. Those go really, really closely together. I've written books on threats and countermeasures. There's a lot of different content, and usually it's around the threat and countermeasure, threat and countermeasure. What are the kind of vulnerabilities that can actually be realized or are being realized? And then what are the things that are being done about those threats to minimize or remove them as threats?
Good. Now you got some basic terms in mind, so let's move on to discuss a little bit more. All right? So you got understanding of what is meant by an ethical hacker and what is meant by a black hat, what is meant by a white hat. Okay? So the next thing we need to do is the vulnerability assessment. You just learned about this. Okay, is a weak point in the system. How do we evaluate if a system is good enough to fend off the attack? So let's go to this very simple 7 minutes tutorial.
Welcome to McCann Investigations Introduction to Vulnerability Assessments. Timely identification and remediation of network vulnerabilities is something every organization needs before hackers or disgruntled insiders exploit the weaknesses. The process of identifying vulnerabilities, evaluating risk, remediation, and reporting is called vulnerability management. By using formal vulnerability management processes, organizations are able to more efficiently find and fix security vulnerabilities within their network. In this video, we will provide a brief overview of network vulnerability assessments, including internal and external network breach assessments, penetration testing, wireless network testing, and social engineering testing. Network breaches. Internal network breach assessment. The internal network breach assessment can be performed in conjunction with the external test and includes an in-depth analysis of the customer's internal network. It is estimated that approximately 80% of security breaches occur from inside the internal network. This network breach assessment will analyze the risk to internal devices and suggest specific hardening techniques to resolve any concerns that are identified. External network breach assessments. Vulnerabilities that may exist between a customer's external network and the internet. This service simulates various electronic attack methods that could be